Hello everyone and welcome to the February 2025 Viewer Challenge. Today we're kicking things off on a 2v2 map Scallion here. Team number one's blue Protoss and probes. The upper left corner shall belong to Jotelka. Or perhaps Yotelka. This could be European. Well, that's not the right way. And their red Terran ally here also. The upper left, it is a Radier Gummy. Radier Gummy. I kind of like Gummy, part of that, so we'll go with that one. Team number two, their opponents and or possibly victims in the bottom right here. It is a Teal Zerg. Niceco. Bro. Yes, very good. And wrapping it all up, their purple Protoss ally here, it is Skiemk. Thank you for the much less inappropriate name here. Protoss. Alright, viewer challenge time, ladies and gents. You know what that means. Alarak.
You are unworthy of my conversation.
Thank you, as always. Wonderful work. Much appreciated. Yes, the viewer challenge for this dear month. I tasked willing, depot-loving participants to play a team match. Team game, I know, terrifying. How awful of me. But not just that. A team game where you, as the submitter, the participant, sent resources to an ally. Yes, did you know you could do that about 5 minutes into the match? A resource trading option becomes available. You can request, you can send. It's good old economics in its purest laissez-faire form. And as an added challenge, a stipulation, I said that as the submitter, the participant who is required to send resources to their ally, you are also only allowed to build workers and buildings. Yes, I wanted to make sure they still had something to do for the first 5 minutes. So, things like cannon rush, spine crawlers, planetary aggression, all on the menu. Absolutely okay. Now, there was one clarification that had to happen once the information did go out, because a beautiful, wonderful Discord member asked me, am I allowed to build overlords? And I was like, yes, you're allowed to make overlords. So we had to change it just slightly to no combat units. So you're allowed to make things like overlords, detectors, observers, overseers, just no combat units. So I wanted the focus, my hope, my goal was that you as the participant, you can make a lot of workers, gather a lot of resources, and then you finance and support your allies who are ideally making enough army production to support said income. So we'll see how close reality actually aligns to my vision, my goal for the month's challenge with our team games today. Starting things off, I'm noticing a trend here with Teal. This is 5 hatch before pool. We're just now getting a spawning pool, which is, I'm not sure greedy is the right word for this type of behavior. I think we're going to have to pull out something a bit more archaic, a bit more historical maybe. I'm going to go with avarice. All right, you can look that up and enjoy that. Google. I'm going to go with avarice-tic. Probably would be the conjugation of that, because 5 hatch before pool is frankly nuts. There's Dark Templar in the main. Luckily, there's also other Dark Templar. However, they can't see each other because it's like radio wavelengths. Okay, they're just a little different. Not quite able to see each other. It looks like somebody got detection. We do have an observer from purple here. While this has been going on, though, red has been terrorizing the only non-hatchery related building that Teal has seen fit to actually grace the map with. Which is, I'm going to go with devastating, really. I mean, this is why we don't make our spawning pools, right, Indigos? I mean, come on. This is why I should have gone 6 hatch before pool. Prism sniped off, feeling the weight of crushing gravity beneath it there. DTs and stalkers will work together here. Hopefully to save some of the drones. Save some of them. A little bit of aggression from team number 1 kicking things off. Both Protoss players seem to go for DTs early on. Now, of course, Blue here with their Prism DTs decided to focus down the Dark Shrine of Purple. We can't see it in this list. The Dark Shrine, it was here. It was destroyed because, as you know, any mirror matchup player knows, only one player is allowed to make one type of unit, so you have to show your dominance, but really lay claim to that unit. Yeah. How's everybody doing? Recovering. Teal, I'm starting to notice something here, Teal. You, dear sir, have 75 drones, and not a whole lot else. The spawning pool was recently rebuilt. Stalkers, did you blink up here? You did. You got Prism, you got Blink, you got way too much confidence. Reinforcing Warp Bin, good old 2-gate reinforcements there. The scan, perhaps expecting Dark Templar, will not work out too well though. Purple will be forced out of the base. Have to recover, lick their metaphorical Protoss wounds. I don't even think Protoss have tongues. How do they lick their wounds if they don't have any tongues? Oh god, existential crisis level questions. Purple knocked down to a mere 6 probes, yet somehow, strangely, doing pretty fine as far as money. Sounds a little intriguing, if you ask me. Yeah. Teal, I think we may have found our submitter here. Oh god, the poor stalker left there. Blue does not seem to have blink yet. No, not even halfway done. They certainly know the observer button, though. They are a frequent flyer as far as observation production goes. Teal pinging a nexus. Look, it's a base. How could they? I think they're trying to help their ally direct them. I'm gonna go with this was probably a pre-made because there's been like 0 communication, and this type of challenge I think kind of necessitates a little bit of communication here. Teal just happily droning away though. I love it. The production tab. I just keep seeing drones kicked on here. They're going over 100. 109 drones already. Oh boy. Alright. Are they going to go for 200? 200 drones, I think, would be an impressive display. That's thumbnail worthy right there. Purple, still only on 1 base, of course. 7 probes. Just finished a probe. Adding on the triple forge has 8 gates. Such 1 base production here, dear Skim. This is exactly what I was hoping to see with the challenge, though. One player gets to kind of just focus on army control, army production and management. The other one, the financier, the lien holder of the base, if you will. Yes. Alright, Teal. Teal is the submitter for sure. So far, it's just been drones and Ovies. I mean, that's fantastic. Purple with a very sketchy blink here up into the base, right into the range of upwards of way too many damn siege tanks, and not going to be able to focus them down, just going to kind of throw away the army, which, as the only player on the team that's allowed to have a functional standing army, feels risky. I'm going to go with that's a little bit of a risky decision here. Blink, done for both Protoss. Everybody else just not even concerned about any type of upgrades, it would seem. That really, I mean, the Zerg, it makes sense, because they're not really doing anything. They're just making a bunch of buildings. Yet somehow also not enough buildings. Spine Crawlers could help out. They're totally fine. Now, creep spread, of course, is a little difficult because with no queens, you're not allowed to have creep tumors. So it's going to have to be up to hatcheries to spread the creeps. Well, actually, overlords could do it. If you have a lair, do you have a lair? You have no lair. Oh, that's a difficulty. I was just thinking that if you had a lair, your overlords can spread creep. That would allow the spines to get a little closer, get involved with this. I'm sorry, your supply's almost at 200? Oh dear, they're doing it. They're going up to 200 drones. Ooh. Okay, almost there. Terran decides to head out onto the map here. Upgrades lacking, confidence overflowing. Siege tanks set up on the low ground, blink stalkers helping to spearhead the charge. A stray laser giraffe walks a bit too close to the local safari truck and is about to get vaporized. Luckily, plenty of stalkers to help it out. Siege tanks setting up here. Hatchery in peril. Nobody seems to be focusing it down just yet. It's going to die once purple has to back up, though. Can't fight really in range of the siege tanks. That's a bit too many tanks, honestly. 9 siege tanks. I'm impressed. Well done. Solid composition work. They're adding on the vehicle weapons, too. Templar archives on the way for purple. Do they have the gas? They do have the gas. Teal has been floating them quite a bit of money. Teal's still getting a lot of income. You know, 182 drones will do that to you. Look how low they're keeping their money, though. I mean, with 180-ish drones mining, they're keeping their money very low, which means they are constantly sending it over to their ally, which is just magnificent. Absolutely perfect work. We will see how the game actually unfolds, though. Purple seems to be in a little bit of a struggle just dealing with all of the army. And of course, you know, production be damned, 1 player up against 2 is still hard to pull off. Luckily, I would say red doesn't seem to be in too much of a hurry to build a lot. Disruptor shot connects with a few siege tanks. This bottleneck, this choke point is terrible for the stalkers, though. Oh god, the Colossus is picked off. Blue stalkers trapped behind angry zealots. The siege tanks will be cleaned up, picked off. Purple seems to have done it, just needed to get a little bit of a flank set up. Catch those siege tanks off guard. Warp Prism here and ready. Warp Prism, of course, totally allowed. It's not a combat, or even if it was the submitter, it'd be totally fine. But Purple's clearly the army side of this equation, so there's not really any restrictions on them. I will say I'm proud of them for not really even making workers. Like, was this something you decided, you organized, or was this just a happenstance? I don't know. It's a good question. Command center. Feeling very uncomfortable with the amount of zealots staring at it, I'm sure. Holy Archon. Archon hitting the deck here. There's an attack command. Oh, that was from Red. Okay. Red says, look over there. Ha. Badest thou look. That's a lot of depots with hats, Batman. Who's out here running the hat shop for depots? They are doing a mean business in this army. Archons make it up the high ground. Some of them get a little distracted. They can't stand seeing depots with hats. It's just a travesty, an absolute atrocity. The gateway count at a lovely 17, yes. Good old 1 base, 17 warp gate economy. Yeah, don't try this at home, kids. Please don't. DT's here for the defense. I don't see any observers. Where are the observers? Oh god, it's an observer convention back at home? Really? Oh dear. And there's no lair. Oh my gosh, wait, he did it. He did it. 200 drones. I almost missed it. Not gonna slip by me this time though. 17, 20 overlords in production. Ah yes, it is time. The floating of the Terran buildings has come. DT's still doing some really good work at cleaning all of this up. Just the lack of detection. Thank gosh, Purple's observers are now all the way over here. Yeah. Oof. That was an oof. But I'm sure they can recover. They'll be fine. Look, with one base, 7 pros, they've got nearly 9,000 resources in the bank. Yes, absolutely. It makes sense. It's team game math, of course. And if you're at all familiar, you don't try to make team game math work. Don't spend too much brain power on it. Prism. Oh, God, the Blinky's gonna get it. Zealot's able to connect now. The DT's really got to get in there, try to help out. Sir, there's a mass of overlords heading your way. Ready your air defenses. I don't even think they can spread creep. Never got a lair. These are just going to be decorative overlords. Okay. That is fine, I suppose. Purple desperately trying to clean up the blue Protoss army. The Protoss just kind of contending with each other. The Terran, I guess, is just kind of taking themselves out of the equation. Oh yeah, you hat those depots. Well, meanwhile, Teal is just happily enjoying their drone-filled existence. That's a lot of Archons. Stalkers and blinking. I'm pretty sure the Archons are fine. The Stalkers keep grouping up, which is going to help them out substantially. Yeah. Yeah, that ain't looking too good for team number 1 here. Red's got a decent amount of siege tanks. Not a whole lot else, though. I mean, 5 tanks. Oh, we're making Thors. Well, okay. I mean, there's 1 immortal. Well, that's not an enemy immortal. That's a friendly immortal. Okay, so there's actually no immortals on Purple's side. I guess Thors aren't an outrageously absurd idea. The siege tanks on the high ground here, helping out quite nicely. It's like the laser drill mission. Set the siege tanks up on the high ground. Good God, that's a lot of Archons, though. I think that's going to be enough Archons. They should be able to break through that. There's a little bit of damage going on. The Thors got distracted. The Overlord Swarm proves to be effective. If only you could have been spreading creep with these. Just creep the entire enemy base. Blinking 3 Stalkers up against 8 Archons. Yes, a classic Metal League move. Zealots in the mineral lines. Production on fire, both figuratively and literally. I believe we are looking at the end of this match. Still at roughly 100 or 200 drones. They did it. 200 drones again. 136 overlords, too. It's impressive. Where are the observers? 4 observers. It's not letting me see them. Oh, because they're all here. We have another observer convention going on. The DTs, I think, actually did get cleaned up. Observers happen to be close enough. Purple's going to claw and fight their way through the main base door. The Overlords coming to offer emotional support. They got a lair. Perfection. Overlord starting to spread the creep all around. Blue is the first to tap out, and red will not be far behind. That was magnificent, you two. That was exactly what I was hoping to see. Teal ending it out. Just double check, of course, challenge requirements. They were only supposed to make workers and buildings. They have, of course, workers, overlords, larvae. Losses show only drones and overlords, so excellent. Well done. Adhered to the requirements. Purple got to enjoy having a 20 gateway economy with only 7 pros. Perfect. I hope that was enjoyable for you guys. I certainly enjoyed watching it. Thank you for the submission. That is not all for today, though, folks. On to the next match. The next match of the day will be played on the 3v3 map Desolator. Here, team number 1 in the upper left corner, the purple Protoss and probes. It is Paprika. Their yellow Terran ally here, it is Timbo. Oh, lots of chat to go over. Orange Protoss probes rounding out team number 1. It is Masio PL. And team number 2, their opponents in the bottom right here, depot placement extraordinaire. It is Kai. A Cobra-less version, I'm assuming. Their blue Terran ally, it is Ta-Derby. Ta-Derby. Ta-Derb. Ta-Derby. We'll go with blue Terran. And finally, wrapping it all up, a teal Zerg. It is, of course, Duden Bister. Yeah. I like the Hydralisk portrait, at least, and we do have all 3 factions represented, thanks to Sir Teal here, the noble, the classy, of course. Yeah. And, of course, continuing on with the challenge, we know at least one of these fine players here is not going to be making any army units. Will they follow suit of their predecessors and make 200 workers? I somehow doubt. I don't quite expect that level of commitment, but I'm intrigued to see what transpires nonetheless. To start things off, we're kicking it off with apparently a self-cannon rush. Yes, the self-guided meditation is a thing. Self-love is a thing, so why not self-cannon rush? Yes, this is a defensive cannon rush, of course. Getting that overlord, shooing them away, making sure you stay out of my base. Okay, this is my land, not your land, says Orange, who does not, in fact, have anything out on the map. This is an entirely defensive play, I'm assuming. Because I don't quite see anything, probe-shaped, no problems out on the map. We do have a Reaper coming out for yellow. So apparently yellow immediately disqualifying themselves from existence. He's stuck. Really? Like, I can't even be mad because you didn't pay attention to the Reaper. Like, that's something that I preach. I good job, I think, is how I'm gonna have to word that one. Like that. You saw the Bane nest, though, which I will say is, out of everything here, was probably the most important thing to see. I'm not sure you clicked on it to actually know, but I'd wager they're gonna find out pretty quickly, because team number 2 here is sizing up for an aggressive play. This is a Bane bust. True and through the Banes are coming up. There's Hellions from one of the Terrans and just a lot of Marines from the other. Keeping it simple, I suppose. Jimmy Reynor co-op style, right? The Zerglings, as Zerglings do, get very hungry, and in front of the Banelings, busting that door wide open. Hellions speed right on by, going for the workers, going for Orange's probes. Quickest road access, closest path to workers, I suppose. Get a little distracted, sidetracked by some stalkers, which is not going to go very well for the Hellions at all. The defensive cannon play actually worked out really well. There's still one of them going with 8, 9 kills even. Marines and Hellion find their way amidst the probe line, which is going to be both detrimental for them and the probes, since these probes, they're used to battle, they're used to combat, out and hungry for blood, says Masio here. The depot wall constructed, the SCVs continuing to offer emotional support. They can go back to work now. They can go back to work now. Not all of them have to be here. Only one of them's actually licensed to build. Oh god, he's on the wrong side of the depot too. Quick, Lower the depot. Get him back in here. Oh my gosh, we're leaving the door open. My anxiety, my Terran hysteria kicking in. They're apparently fine. Orange took a fair bit of damage. They're losing quite a few probes. 15 probes suffering the loss there. That's going to definitely put a bit of a hamstring on whatever their plan was. The other two, though, I would say relatively unscathed. Purple only losing one stalker. Solid control, not too bad for blinkless stalkers. The yellow Terran, I feel like they lost more to themselves in just terms of lost mining time than a whole lot else, but they still got there. They repaired the barracks and nothing else, which is very fair. Oh, how polite. Look at that, letting the probe out. Such good companionship, allies, teammates here. This could be a pre-made. I see that purple and yellow have the same clan tag, so I think it definitely within reason to be a pre-made setup here. The other three, no visible relation. They look nothing alike, but I've sensed some sort of camaraderie, even if it is just through shared childhood trauma. I guess it's still something to bring them together. Nothing brings people together like a shared villain or shared childhood trauma. Orange, is that trash talk? This game feels like a tower defense campaign mission. Good sir, dear Sir Orange, you are clearly someone I should be taking a keen interest in because you have only 44 probes and not much else, which I'm guessing also somehow gives you the right to talk smack in the chat, because you're like, you know what? I have probes, and I should be sending my money to my companions, my allies. I'm getting over 1,500 resources here. But my friends, they're going to have some big threats, okay? They just sent some money over, I see. They sent some money over to their allies. And, yeah, those allies, they're going to be scary in a couple minutes, okay? So, you know what, team number 2? You better watch out, because my friends here, they're going to get you. You can see it. It's the little kid on the playground who's out here talking a big game because he's got his big scary friends next to him. I see it. I like it. I respect it even. That's a choice, I suppose. There's SCVs here. Why are we pulling the boys? Better question, why are we only pulling 4 boys? Like, what's up with these 4? Did they get their combat specialist training? Are they gonna repair the Thors that are here? Keep the medevacs alive, maybe? The Zerglings, the first to engage the Stalkers. Do they have blink? They do. They do have blink. We're gonna blink everything all at once. That hurts a little bit. Piecemeal blink. Piecemeal blink. Just little groups. It doesn't have to be down to the individual, but just maybe clusters of 2 or 3. Yeah. Well, the Zerg forces were depleted. I see just a couple Hydras left. The Terrans, I think, should be enough to deal with these Stalkers. They don't have a whole lot going for them. No upgrades. One's about halfway done. The Stalkers will be disintegrated, destroyed. Oh my god, the Terrans going for battle cruisers. Like, it's a great idea for this type of challenge, sure, but you need to actually... That's a nice skin. I like that battle cruiser skin. That's a nice bowler. You get that reference. Alright. Well, apparently, because the lone battle cruiser doesn't feel like actually pitching in and potentially losing its own life, it means the Protoss expansion is going to be destroyed. Stalker count reduced to 4 for a little bit here. Get that Overlord. Now, purple does still have their other base up here, so they're not dead. Definitely not dead. And orange has been doing a great job at keeping their money low. I see. They've got 2 bases set up, slightly oversaturated. Cutting it at about 53 probes on 2 bases is definitely a bit much, especially because you don't even have 2 full bases. This is dwindling at this point. Really got to bust out of this contain that you have apparently made for yourself, Orange, the cannons. Okay, like, are we trying to keep something out or trying to keep something in? That's my question now. Are all of these cannons here actually for team number 2's safety? Possibility. Zerg forces seem to have replenished themselves. Their numbers have grown. That's going to be a mass Hydralisk play from Teal, who's also getting a Spire. Oh, I'm sorry, Spires. We already have a Greater Spire here and Decorative. So going for the good old Hydra Corruptor Broodlord, huh? The battlecruiser count has risen to a rather indomitable 6 at this point. Oh my gosh, even more. What are we up to now? 8? 8 cruisers. Now we're talking. They already have got +1 attack. I would advise getting armor upgrades with a little bit of priority just because of, you know, what battlecruisers are. Heavily armored things to reduce bits of damage, to help them stay alive. There's a scouting shield battery that discovers the enemy attack group. Luckily, the enemies have no way of actually mining minerals. Why can't we just blast them? Okay, like, give them a lot of health. Sure, give them the same health as debris to make it fair. It's fine. Just blast them there. Speaking of blasting time, battle cruisers in the main base of blue over here, getting quite a bit of damage done. Even destroying the orbital. Teal, the first to respond, actually, the most helpful, compassionate of the teammates here. Forgetting their Hydralisk speed upgrade, though, it's going to cause a bit of a hamstring, bit of a hamper on that whole defensive play. Corruptors get here first. Yamato Cannon should quickly deal with them. Targeting different Corruptors, I like it. I would probably focus the Spire. Just on your way out. No, 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 we're not gonna get it. No. Oh, okay, fine. We're keeping the cruisers alive. It's up to the Terran now. Terran player controlling their battle cruisers. Timbo, no stranger to these Gold League Terran strategies. The Brood Lords are here to stare angrily at the cruisers. That is what the Brood Lord would probably say in this situation. Purple has one of the cruisers selected. I'm not sure if they're actually controlling them or they're just, you know, observing. Well, the Broodlords are giving their own lives away, getting a little too close to the cruisers. The Thors are here, but not in their anti-cruiser mode. Switch them into cannons, Mr. Kai. That would be an advisable decision. We have 2 different depots that are not being produced right now. Teal, quite upset at the terms of engagement. Blue lost their base and has not seen fit to even replace any said orbitals. Wait, what is an orbital even? Orbital? That's a weird sounding thing, Indigos. I don't think I want that. Sounds like that weird kind of pack of gum. You trying to give me something? Yeah. Only some of the barracks have reactors. Are zoning permits up in price too lately? Everything's been up in price lately. It wouldn't surprise me. Terran zoning restrictions in play, so I guess only some of the barracks are allowed to have reactors. Team number 1 feeling probably quite good, quite confident after that attack. Terran made it out with some of their battle cruisers, so they're going up to 10 total. Protoss here has been building up their forces. Ground toss, it looks like. Nobody really wants to expand too crazily. I do see Orange taking another base. They have still been keeping their money low. Right now the suffering is a lack of production. Their teammates are they're having the money. Okay, Orange is floating the bill. They're just not really doing much with it. They just like seeing the bank account numbers go up, I suppose. So I guess that's all they really need to be happy. Yellow decides now is go time, it would seem. The cruisers are here once again. Yamato's going out. Corruptors will be the target. Zerglings here once again to stare angrily. You know which button's being pressed. Hydralisks now ready to help out. The Hydra Corruptor and Thor might actually be able to get this done. And the splash damage mode, not an awful idea because of how clumped up the cruisers are. I still would like to see the cannons, though. More cruisers are falling. Purple here to help out the flanking attack. Reinforcements from the north. Unexpected, wild defense. The Thors will be surrounded. The Hydralisks will be destroyed. And I believe this might be the end of team number 2. Their forces outnumbered, outgunned, but not out-battle-cruisered thanks to the Corruptors. Oh god, they get away. Well, now you have to contend with the ground forces, and Corruptors, of course, they think everything's beneath them, really. If it's not an air unit, it's not worth their time, it's not worth the trouble. So, I stand apparently correct there. Team number 2 deciding it is time to tap out. Purple's forces will not be dealt with, will not be destroyed. Teal looked like was making a bunch of Zerglings, but apparently snapped back to their senses without having to throw them all away. Well done, team number 1 here. Orange especially, participant, partaking in the challenge, depleting your minerals. I definitely would have liked to see a little more aggressive economics, taking more bases out on the map, but nonetheless you adhered to the requirements, commanded everything perfectly, floated some money over to your teammates who were making Banshees too, apparently. Battlecruiser Terran, a good strategy for this, actually. I like the idea, the premise of this, because Battlecruiser is very pricey, not quite easy to do on just 2 base economy. Here you got 7 starports, yeah. But having a friend foot the bill definitely helps out. The purple, solid, stalker, control, ground toss composition helping out at the right time, so good job, all 3 of you. A well-earned victory. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.